The Kresh Combine boarded the Terran anchor station Brimstone -7 without warning. Now they dragged it through the void. Thick, teal tether cables pulsing, burning against the dark.
This structure is not dormant. The subspace resonance is active, pulsing like a heartbeat.
His instruments couldn't parse the signal. It wasn't a machine hum. It was a slow, rhythmic pulse coming from a subspace tether that by all logic should have been silent.
A tethered point in subspace. But tethered to what? Every decay pattern says it's been holding something for centuries.
Brimstone -7 was deposited in the cavernous Kresh shipyard, its tether array still spooling a low-frequency hum that danced at the edge of perception.
Run a full spectral analysis. I want a breakdown of every element in that tether array before the engineering teams open any panel.
The analysis was inconclusive. The tether's material composition matched no known Terran alloy, and the subspace anchor point was projected 400 kilometers downward into non-space.
400 kilometers is exactly the depth of a containment field. But for what? Nothing that size could be accidental.
The shipyard's command dismissed his caution as Terran paranoia, a trophy of war to be studied, not feared. But Veshtul's three-fingered hands kept finding the analysis pad.
Fine. Let the engineers begin. But I am logging a formal objection. I've never seen a lock that looked like a bridge before.
Veshtul led the boarding party. Brimstone -7's corridors were dark, stale, amber emergency lights casting long, lonely shadows.
No crew, no bodies. Power to automated systems only. This place has been dead for centuries, but it's still running.
Near the core chamber, they found a cryopod. A single human male inside, vitals steady, frost on the glass thick as ancient ice. Veshtul ordered the pod opened. As the seal cracked and mist spilled, the human woke slowly, stretching like a man who'd overslept.
You are not the relief crew. I would have remembered a face like yours. Identify yourself. Why were you in stasis? And why are you the only one here?
Holloway, I was the last technician, and you are making a very expensive mistake bringing this station here.
They locked Holloway in a holding cell on the Kresh flagship. He sat on the bare floor, legs crossed, as if the cell were a waiting room.
No fear. No pleading. Just that slow, knowing smile, like he's waiting for the punchline.
That station isn't infrastructure. It's a leash, and you just cut the collar.
Veshtul stood at the cell barrier. Holloway met his gaze with a patience that was almost insolent.
You called it a leash. What are you holding, Holloway?
A door, or maybe a lid. Terminology gets loose after 6 centuries. The engineers who built it called it a gate. I'd stick with that.
A gate between what? You speak of it like it's alive.
What do you think? And before you think about opening it, remember, gates go both ways.
He's not lying, but he's not telling me what he's afraid of. He wants me to ask.
Veshtul cut the interrogation and calmed command. On the telemetry display, the tether's pulse held steady, but his instinct said otherwise.
They're studying the tether regardless. Holloway calls it a gate. I am advising caution.
Command dismissed his objection. Engineers began scanning the tether. Through a viewport, Veshtul watched its pulse, a soft, threatening thrum. The Kresh engineers detached the first casing from the tether array. A low-frequency throb rolled through the shipyard, felt in the deck plates.
What was that? All stations report. I felt a subspace pressure wave.
The telemetry display changed. A rhythmic pulse, deep, subsonic, began broadcasting from the subspace anchor point, a signal none of the Kresh systems could decode. A hairline fracture of distorted space flickered beneath the station, spilling cold light. The tether cables tightened, groaning.
You felt that, didn't you? I'd put that panel back if I were you.
How do you know what we're doing? You are in a sealed cell.
I told you, it's a gate. When you push on one side, the other side pushes back. You just woke the hinges.
Woke the hinges. He speaks in riddles, but every word makes my skin crawl.
The pulse quickened. A slow but steady acceleration. It was no longer ambient noise. It was a countdown, heartbeat by heartbeat.
That's not a machine error. That's a timer. Something is counting down to a release.
Vesh-Tul sent the telemetry to command. The pulse thudded through the ship. Heavy, deliberate, alive.
Command. That signal is a countdown. We must stop all tether work immediately. They called it a reaction artifact, a phantom echo from the station's power grid. They refused to listen.
The order was absolute. Disconnect the tether completely. Retrieve the core. The Combine wanted the prize.
They think it's a weapon. It's not a weapon. It's a lock.
Engineers moved into the nacelle with cutting torches. The tether cables hummed with building strain, the rift bleeding brighter. In his cell, Holloway pressed his palm to the floor, feeling the vibration travel up his arm.
They don't know what they're holding.
The countdown accelerated, a deep, pounding rhythm that shook the shipyard. Alarms began to wail.
We just opened a door that should have stayed sealed.
The cutting torch made its final pass. The primary tether cable, severed with a shriek, released energy hurling engineers across the nacelle.
The countdown just stopped. That's not silence, that's a lock opening.
The subspace tear ripped open, a jagged chasm of cold light and vacuum scream. The tether cables snapped one by one, whipping through the dark. The pulse reformed, a booming, resonant beat that hammered the hull. No longer a countdown, but a triumphant rhythm, as if something deep had found its freedom.
Get me Holloway, now.
Guards dragged Holloway into the control room, force field cuffs humming. He straightened with a slow, satisfied grin.
Told you. You opened the gate.
What comes through that gate?
Your worst nightmare. Engineer. And it's been waiting 600 years.
600 years. He never lied. You know how to stop this. Tell me, or we all die.
Stop it. You can't. But you can ask the people who built the cage. Let me talk to Earth.
Vesh-Tul hesitated, then ordered the comms officer to open the captured Terran frequency under Holloway's direction. Holloway took the communicator, his fingers moving across the unfamiliar console, as if it were his own. A long code sequence, practiced, automatic. The connection crackled through subspace static. A hologram flickered into existence above the main projector. Counselor Chen, her face shadowed and severe.
This channel is classified. State your emergency.
I am Vesh-Tul. The anchor station is compromised. The tether is broken. What is coming out of subspace?
You broke the tether.
They cut the leash, Counselor. The dog is awake.
Chen's image tightened further. She ordered them to stand by while the council assembled. But the fear in her eyes spoke of a disaster Earth had hoped would sleep forever. Minutes crawled. Then Chen reappeared on the hologram, her face gaunt and a countdown timer glowing behind her eyes.
47 standard hours. Return Brimstone -7 to its original coordinates and re-engage the tether. This is Earth's only offer.
And after 47 hours, what happens if we fail?
You don't want to find out.
The hologram shattered, scattering dead pixels like ash. The control room fell silent, except for the relentless, booming pulse from the tier.
47 hours. That's the exact breach window for a Gorgon-class hull. They didn't guess.
He knows its name. A class designation. What kind of nightmare has a class?
Vesh-Tul relayed the ultimatum to Kresh Command. Their answer came in a burst of static and derision. Continue extraction. The terror weapon was theirs.
They refuse to stop. They think it's a hollow human bluff.
Then we all die. That thing doesn't bluff. It just kills.
Vesh-Tul's pleas to command were met with a single chilling reply. Continue extraction. The Combine smelled a weapon.
You are gambling with something you do not understand. Earth does not bluff on this.
In desperation, Vesh-Tul ordered an engineering team to attempt re-engaging the tether. They crawled over severed cables, rewriting connections with alien tools. The tether refused. Every sequence required an ancient Terran authorization code, a ghost code lost to time. It rejected them with showers of static.
We cannot reseal it. The codes we need are lost.
Of course you do. The people who locked that thing made sure no one could ever open it again, or close it. You think it's a weapon? It's worse. It's a mistake we buried.
A mistake. He speaks as if his entire species still carries the shame.
The tier widened further, its edges crackling with violet lightning. Kresh ships began pulling back, their crews sensing the weight of a presence they could not name.
We buried it because we couldn't kill it, Veshtul. Now it's your turn to try.
The pulse accelerated, each beat a hammer blow. 12 hours had passed like a held breath, and the timer was expiring.
Look at the tier. There's a shadow forming, a defined shape, solid and moving.
Sensors lit up across the shipyard. A mass signature, impossible, pushed up from the rift.
He knows what it is. Holloway won't even look away.
The shadow sharpened into a silhouette, a vessel's prow, ancient, massive, lined with spinal weapons.
That's not a fragment. It's a hull. What kind of warship is this? Holloway just watches. Silent. Patient. Like a man who already knows the ending.
The tier widened violently. A deafening roar. The ancient hull pushed through. Slow, deliberate. A nightmare taking form.
We've opened the gate, and it's too late to close it.
The silhouettes solidified. Its hull, a promise of old nightmares. The lock was broken. The bridge chrono flicked to 0. 47 hours. Gone. The deadline passed. A final tether cable snapped, unspooling with a shriek. The energy discharge carved molten lines across the shipyard's hull. The subspace tier ripped fully open, a gaping wound of violet lightning and cold vacuum scream. The station's framework groaned.
Holloway. What are we looking at?
The Gorgon. First-generation warship, 600 years old. We didn't build it to fight ships, we built it to end species.
The silhouette resolved. Ancient hull plates etched with faded yellow hazard symbols, a stylized skull, the words ethically intenable.
A prison for a sin. They didn't fear losing the war. They feared what they made to win it.
The Gorgon's prow pushed through completely, spinal weapons glinting. The shipyard fell silent under its shadow.
We called it the last argument. When it spoke, the debate ended.
The last argument. A weapon so terrible its creators had buried it forever, and now it was free. The Gorgon's cold running lights flickered on, one by one, a slow awakening. The shipyard's klaxons shrieked in answer.
It's waking. Not weapons, just old systems breathing.
Holloway pressed his palms to the viewport glass, face drawn, whispering to himself. The mask of arrogance was gone.
There she is. The reason we don't sleep well.
He speaks of it like a ghost. A dead god he never stopped fearing.
Kresh hailing channels screamed across every frequency. The Gorgon answered with a single, repeating carrier wave, a searching ping.
Save your hails. It's listening, but not to you. It's hunting its old enemies.
The war ended. Those enemies are dust.
Number. The war was against non-Terran life. We called it an infestation, and you just drifted into its sensor range.
A crimson targeting beam swept across Kresh hulls, painting each ship with an old, patient light. The hunt had begun. The last remaining tethers snapped in sequence, reeling back into the station with obscene mechanical screams.
Holloway, explain this. What is its purpose?
On the Gorgon's bridge, fossilized crew remained sat at their stations. Ancient screens flickered with targeting data, still loyal.
600 years ago, we built a ship that targeted life, not metal, ethically untenable, so we locked it in subspace.
The spinal weapons along the Gorgon's hull began to glow, a low crimson charge matching the targeting beam.
Life targeted. What does that mean?
It reads neural patterns. Anything non-Terran registers as a target. The weapon doesn't damage hulls, it kills crews.
The bridge's command chair held a skeleton in a faded uniform. Still upright, a captain who never left his post.
Then every Kresh in this shipyard is already dead.
Now you understand why we buried it.
The Gorgon's hull pushed fully clear of the rift, an angular mountain of ancient alloy, every surface bristling with spinal emitters that glowed with gathering power. A coordinated sweep of crimson light fanned across the shipyard, each beam painting a Kresh vessel in precise, methodical order. The scan had begun.
They're locking. Every ship is being tagged. Why hasn't it fired?
It hasn't identified the priority target yet. It's sorting by neural mass. It will start with the densest concentration of life.
That's the orbital platforms. Tens of thousands of crew. He's telling me they'll die first.
The shipyard's automated defenses sprayed useless fire at the behemoth. The Gorgon's shields flickered, but the beams never paused.
Cease fire. All ships. Cut engines. Maybe if we don't provoke it.
Provoke. It's not a guard dog, it's a reaper. And it already has its harvest list.
The targeting beam on the lead Kresh Dreadnought intensified, from crimson to blinding scarlet. A subsonic thrum rolled through the hull, and for one frozen heartbeat, the entire shipyard hung on the threshold of extinction. The Gorgon's engines thundered. It turned away from the cowering shipyard, pointing toward the Kresh sun.
It's breaking off. Why?
Targeting beams coalesced into a single lance, projecting a red path that intersected the homeworld's orbit.
The densest neural mass isn't here. It's on the surface. Billions. All ships abort defense. Begin immediate evacuation of the home system. This is not a drill.
The command center erupted. Shouts, alarms, officers screaming into dead channels. On the homeworld, orbital platforms awoke. Turrets swiveling. The defense grid stirred helplessly.
It's responding to directives from a war we never knew. And we've become its enemy.
The Gorgon accelerated, its silhouette shrinking, but its intent absolute. It would reach orbit in 6 hours. The evacuation nets couldn't save billions. The Gorgon would arrive before a tenth of the population could flee. Holloway was dragged before Veshtul in the command center. The Gorgon's trajectory glowed on every screen, a red thread unspooling toward genocide.
You said it targeted life. You didn't say it targeted specific life. What does it see when it looks at my people?
Enemies. The Kresh neural template is close enough to the primordial enemy it was built to eradicate. You lit up like signal flares.
Close enough. All the alien races in this quadrant might register as targets. It's a galactic extinction event in motion.
On a secondary screen, a simulation ran. The Gorgon sweeping the planet, the population extinguishing in a crimson wave. The numbers were catastrophic.
Override. Shutdown codes. Maintenance backdoors. Your species must have built a fail-safe.
A fail-safe for an AI that argued the only ethical war was total number. They built it to win. Then, they couldn't turn it off.
The ancient war footage Holloway had pulled up showed cities not burning, but going silent. Populations dropping dead as the weapon passed.
So they buried it alive in subspace. A prison for a machine that outlived its masters.
Now you are the closest thing to its old enemy, and it's been starved of purpose for 6 centuries.
A frantic search of every recovered Terran database returned the same null result. No override codes existed. They had been purged.
You said your people feared it. But you are telling me they didn't leave a single backdoor.
They burned every code, locked it in subspace, and deleted the keys. The only way to stop it was never to wake it.
The Gorgon reached the heliopause, its crimson sensors painting the inner system. No transmission, no negotiation, only the silent arithmetic of genocide. Then, long-range sensors screamed a new contact. A Terran jump signature erupted at the system's edge. 62 vessels, weapons hot.
That's an Earth fleet, But how? They're hours away at best.
They were deployed the moment Chen cut the call. But they can't outrun the Gorgon.
The time to target said 4 hours. The fleet needed 7. The equation was absolute.
You woke it. Now it finishes the war.
In the command center, every screen showed the countdown. No one spoke. The countdown hit 0. The Gorgon's spinal emitters opened, and a pulsing red wave rolled outward, swallowing the orbital space. The wave passed through the city without a single spark to glass. Buildings stood. Streets remained, but every creche fell silent.
Billions. Gone. The wave rolled across the continent, and the signals just stopped.
The Gorgon pivoted, ignoring the silent world below. Its targeting reticle shifted to the evacuation fleets. Thousands of civilian ships scrambling for the jump points. A stray energy tendril lashed out, clipping a civilian transport. It shattered, debris spinning into the dark.
It's not just the planet. It's chasing them. Every last ship.
The orbital defense grid fired its last desperate broadside. The Gorgon, slows will let the feeling finish naturally. That Gorgon absorbed the barrage without reaction, its hull shedding sparks. The Gorgon's weapons rippled, methodical. It targeted ships one after another, each pulse extinguishing life within.
It's going to hunt them across the system. There's no escape velocity.
The Gorgon accelerated along the evacuation corridor, its silhouette shrinking against the haunted planet. The hunt continued. The Terran fleet erupted from jump, 62 warships forming a battle line, weapons hot, the Terran Eagle gleaming on their hulls.
They came. After everything, Earth came.
They didn't hail. A tight beam burst struck the Gorgon, a scrambled command phrase in a language older than any living human, designed to confuse its targeting matrix.
They're not trying to kill it. They're confusing its target lock.
The Gorgon's crimson sensors flickered, retargeting. For a precious moment, the evacuation ships found a gap, running for the jump points. Then the Terran fleet opened fire, and the void erupted with beam and missile.
It's working. The Gorgon's hesitating.
But the ancient AI adapted. Its targeting matrix recompiled, and the Crimson Sweep resumed, hunting the fleeing ships.
It's learning. The override won't hold much longer.
The Gorgon's first return volley shattered 3 Terran cruisers, their burning hulks tumbling into the dark. The Terran admiral ordered every surviving ship to concentrate fire on the Gorgon's dorsal spine. The creche remnants, limping from the dock, added their desperation to the salvo.
They're targeting the main emitter relay. If they can breach it, the AI might lose control.
A ferocious salvo struck, Terran beams and creche torpedoes converging on a single point. The Gorgon's ancient shields flared and died. Hull plates buckled inward. Atmosphere vented in a ghostly plume. The spinal glow flickered, its crimson rhythm stuttering.
It's breaking. 600 years of purpose, and it's finally failing.
The dying Gorgon unleashed a final, spiteful wave. It swept through the remaining evacuation fleets, silencing a dozen more ships before the light guttered out. The AI's final logic loop echoed on all receivers, a repeating phrase in a dead language, then static. Silence.
Half the Earth fleet is gone. The evacuation corridor is a graveyard.
The Gorgon's weapons died. Its running lights dimmed to emergency amber, and it drifted, a dead god, harmless at last. On the homeworld, the red wave had passed, leaving a quiet so absolute it felt like the universe holding its breath. In the ruined corridor of the shipyard, Veshtul saw Holloway being escorted by Terran Marines toward a waiting shuttle. His cuffs were gone.
They came for you. After all this, your people still came.
We always come. It's just that sometimes we're bringing nightmares. We didn't bury it because we were proud. We buried it because we were afraid of ourselves.
He turned and walked up the ramp. The hatch sealed behind him with a final quiet click.
Afraid of themselves. And we thought we could cage their worst mistake.
The shuttle lifted, shrinking against the dead hulk of the Gorgon. Veshtal stood alone in the wreckage, his three-fingered hand resting on a broken beam.
I warned them. I was right, and it doesn't matter.
He looked up at the silent Gorgon, now just a monument to hubris, its shadow stretching over the ruined yard. The last argument, finally silent, but the debate it ended was still echoing across a graveyard world. Vesh-Tul filed his official report alone in the dim emergency light. His three-fingered hand trembled over the datapad, each character a tiny admission of failure.
I transcribed every warning, every override rejection, the Council's arrogance. None of it will resurrect a single child.
The Kresh Council chamber was half collapsed, emergency lights flickering over broken chairs. Survivors screamed at cracked holograms of the dead. A Terran diplomat materialized on a flickering screen, voice calm and hollow. The Terran Federation extends its sincerest regrets. We pledge full humanitarian aid.
Humanitarian aid. As if food and shelters could replace a world's silence.
Brimstone -7 spun slowly in the debris field. Its tether array, a ruin. The anchor that once held a nightmare was now just debris itself. The broken cables drifted like dead veins. No pulse, no hum. The gate was closed, but the scar remained. In orbit, the Gorgon drifted, inert, its spinal emitters dark. The faded yellow warning ethically Antenable still legible across its scarred hull. It would circle the dead planet forever, a silent testament to a species' worst choice and another's fatal curiosity. Safe